I am back. We are back because I was on a few hours ago and it was quite a nice live. In fact, the message that I came on was not the message intended, and that's exactly how it should be because the messages aren't ever planned out, but they come. And that's why I come on here to speak because I am hope and hope is speaking. Thank you for liking the live, Lee. And that's what we're going to talk about. In my live earlier today, we had an exceptional live with me just sharing all of the things that I tried and that I told myself yes to. And I talk about that because so many times, especially with young people, but this is with any time in life, the response to ourself will be no. I'm not going to try. It won't happen for me. It will never happen for me. And I am always under the umbrella of trying, telling yourself yes, learning in the process, and then going from there. It does not have to be yes, and this is what I'll do forever. It can be yes, so I'll try. Yes, and I will allow myself to learn. And I spoke of, especially from 22 to 30, I just tried. I tried a bunch of things except for like illicit substances. That was never really anything that I knew I wanted because I always saw myself having this life meaning a full, ooh, I see almost like a small rainbow. That's nice. A life where I would create my life. And I spoke about this in my last live of being your own creator. No one knows their own abilities until they actually commit themselves. Meaning, to commit yourself doesn't mean give it your best shot one time and then give up. To commit yourself means I'm going to dedicate some time. I'm going to become so laser focused on this that there's no other way but it working out. Thank you, Lee. And I said that even with speaking, like, well, I knew this is what I was going to dedicate my life to and my professional life, as well as just my passion. But with me moving places, and I'll speak about that because I make it seem easy because I've done it so many times. Um, there were times when I first moved to DC, it was like lonesome. And I talked to people and I did not know people there and I would cry and say, this is what it is. But the thought wasn't, this is terrible, so I must go back home. The thought was, this is how I feel, and it will not always feel like this. When I first moved to London, that first year was like a transition. And it was, thank you for liking the lively. It was, yeah, not only am I in a different city, in a different country, in a different work environment, I am now working in a completely new environment. Although I am doing the same thing. Yeah, I said I would come back twice because, Paulina, there's typically on Tuesdays, I come on, sometimes I would come on with a friend of mine. So I said, why not? Why not? Earlier, it was such a nice talk that went so many ways that it pulled some ideas out of me that I've jotted down and will turn into content in some way. So I'm speaking, hear me speak. Uh, so, yeah, my first year in London was a character building time because now I'm actually working with mostly Brits or people from the EU. So the work environment was different. And why it's so interesting when I talk is because I've been in these environments. To make the assumption that if I'm working in one place, it's like this everywhere, it's not. The US is a highly productive place where rest is not spoken about, let alone pushed, and just how people interact in the workplace is different. Whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Spain, whether you're in France, whether you're in Japan, everywhere you go, there's a different work environment depending on the culture. And I experienced that because I talk very confidently, and I was quite a bit younger. I was 24 when I moved to London. And yeah, I can't really be told anything. So that could have played a part in it. On top of that, the weather change. The UK is notorious for being melancholy and damp and misty and rainy and no sun. And I was making friends-ish, but I don't really have a problem with making friends because I'm always going to be in some social setting. And all it takes is for me to meet one person to meet several other people. And the difference with London was really the weather. I'd really never lived in a place that was consistently cold and misty and rainy and doesn't have a set seasons. And so it was difficult. I remember it was very difficult, enough so for me to think about transferring back. You have to hydrate. Thank you, Paulina, for liking the live. And so there were some challenges, and I had broken up with a boyfriend and left him in the US, which I saw something, a piece of content that said something on the note of more young people, specifically young women, just need to up and move to that city. But the response is, oh, my boyfriend, oh, my family. Listen, listen, listen. It, no, no, go, just go, go. I will be one to say you can find the boyfriend everywhere, really. You can always find the boyfriend. There's never a time that I've ever experienced a lack of not being able to find a boyfriend. You will be okay. Just go ahead and try something new, because that experimental time, especially throughout your 20s, is because you're not an adult. Of course, you're being told you're an adult, but you're like the elder teenager. You've often been instructed by your guardians or your parents on the choices to make. You have not had much independence. And so throughout your 20s is just finding your footing as a sovereign being, as an independent being, and how helpful that is for individuals to actually say, hey, I want to try this, and go for it. Hey, I want to try this and learn from it. That fear of, I'm in this relationship, so I don't want to leave, although it seems like it's helpful, it may be hindering some sense of growth. And I also shared in my live earlier on how individuals are often speaking from their space of oh, I just put it in my story. What is it? The space of their setbacks. So if you had said to someone, I want to try X, Y, and Z, and they were afraid to do it, the only response you're going to receive from them is their fear of trying. You will not receive, I think you should do it, I would be afraid, but go for it. There's a possibility, but sometimes the response is just, I would never do that. They're speaking from their limitations. And the sun is really in my eye. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, and that makes sense. I don't see that as something that's limiting. I don't see that as something that's bad. That is self-preservation for the person. So when I'm sharing this as a note of awareness. I don't think that's a negative thing. Someone is only going to speak from a space where they feel safest. That's it. That's it. And so to make these courageous decisions truly means to say, I don't know, and I'm doing it anyway. I don't know the outcome, and I'm believing that it will work out for me, which it can be a strange place. It can be a very strange place to operate from. And I felt this when I had first moved and transferred to London, because I didn't know. I knew I wanted that experience, but I didn't even know what that experience entailed. And I knew that it was uncomfortable because everything that seemed familiar was no longer familiar. And that's why I said in one of my posts, when nothing is familiar, when nothing looks as it was, that's the most beautiful space to say, wow, okay, if nothing is familiar, I can just create, because none of this is what is normal for me. Well, it's not about feeling bad. Again, it's just that awareness. And it's all a part of the cycle. Of course, to feel resentful, I understand that, but it's just a part of that cycle. It's a part of the learning cycle. It's a part of being aware. It's a part of maturity. And that's why I believe just doing and understanding these things about ourselves are so incredibly powerful. I had just received the speech from when I spoke at my school, and it was another moment where I felt powerful. And I felt powerful because I was speaking to these students in a very honest tone. In an honest tone of someone who has tried and has had successes and has learned from things that did not have the maybe the outcome that I thought they would have, but I still learned from them in some way. I may put this shade up because the sun is right in my eyes, but I know pretty soon it's going to start to move. So I may just talk in the meantime. And in my live earlier, there was someone in the live that felt something and shared that not everyone can. I'm paraphrasing. Not everyone can accomplish their dreams. Sure. Why are you speaking for everyone? No one can speak for everyone. So let's start there. In reality, it's you saying your limitations. When the response is, hey, not everyone can do what you've done. Sure, that doesn't matter. Maybe everyone can, but why are you the speaker of that? Is it that you feel that you are limited and that's why you are expressing that? Because if that is the case, then let's leave it there. And it was a beautiful space to say, sure. And I have compassion for that. But I don't know how that's beneficial. Thank you, Nia, for liking the live, and welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I just keep going back and forth with if I'm going to put this shade up because the sun is right in my eye, which I love. I love the full-on sun look, but pretty soon the sun will go down anyway. So just sharing about life's instances and things that happen in life. And thank you, Paulina, for sharing the live. And I watched this cat just try to attack this bird, which took off. So let me go forward. I'm actually going to put this shade up. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, sun kiss. I'm definitely in the sun. I'm definitely in the sun and want to put this sun shade up so I can like focus, but the lighting is so great. I do enjoy being right in the sun. And I brought my journal out because this morning I had shared, instead of writing IMs, I started writing askformations. So let me just read these. Why is everything working out for me? This is what I wrote right when I wake up. Why am I so worthy and deserving? Because a lot of times we do not feel worthy or deserving of the things that we want. Why do I always have so much money? Why do I always have so much money? What's up, Cliff? Why am I always accepting the best opportunities? Why do I love myself so unconditionally? Now, these, instead of I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am healthy, I was writing askformations. Always, yeah, always, Joseph. Why would I speak or write the opposite? I'm very rich and wealthy in every way. Why am I paid to exist? Why am I so confident and full of life in every way? Why am I so beautiful? Why am I so incredibly healthy in every way? Why am I making so much money in everything I do? Why am I so healthy, flexible, and worthy? You will hear a few of these being repeated. Why am I so positive and optimistic? Why is today so magical and perfect in every way? So I share that every day, right when I get up, I journal. And the first page is just scripting. So the first page is, thank you, Paulina, and there we go. There's the little cloud haze in front of the sun. The first page is scripting. So I wrote right when I woke up on the first page, I have everything I want. Life is super easy for me. Now, the thing is, it may not look like that, but this is what I will write because I am programming myself for the day ahead. So it could be that what I want, I don't see. It doesn't matter to me. I have to just write the identity that I want to be. That is a powerful space. So I'll read because this is always helpful with a journaling practice. It does not have to be, it can be helpful saying, I didn't sleep well, I'm upset at so and so, the car. That may be helpful to get that out. Or scripting, and scripting is essentially making up what you want. So that's what I wrote. The first thing was, I have everything I want. Life is super easy for me. Money loves me and is attracted to me. I am paid to exist. Uh, the best is mine always. Yeah, Joseph, of course, of course, of course. Secondly, let's see. I feel amazing because I know everything always works in my favor. I have so much love in my life in every way. In every way. Instead of saying no one loves me, why can't I find love? Love escapes me. No, I have so much love in my life in every way. I am so grateful because life is so familiar. Life is so full of love or familiar of love. Let's see. I have it all. Let's see. I love how perfect opportunities are always attracted to me. And I love doing what I love. I was just like, I just wake up and just start writing out these things. So I share that because earlier today, someone had said, hey, what does this come from? Where does this positivity, thank you, thank you, thank you. Where does it come from? Well, it comes from me. And a lot of the time it is thought that, and it can come from some outside source. That is up to you as a person. It may come from the spiritual figure that is in your life. It can come from a religious figure. I am that for me. If I was relating this to a Christian text, if I am made in its image, I am co-creating. I am the creator. I am able to create what I want, to feel the best that I see myself feeling. And it is intentional. It is not, this just doesn't happen. It could, but typically you just don't start feeling positive and powerful if you have not been feeling that way. It has to be intentional. And it is a concentrated, diligent effort. This is constant. This is not from planting a seed once and assuming. That is one part, but it's constant because life happens. Life happens. I've shared a few of the things that have transpired in my life over the past 5 or 6 months, and I have had to speak that life into me. So at times you will have to speak that life into you. You will. You will have to speak that love into you. You will have to speak your wellness into you. You will have to speak your health into you. You will have to speak your good financial standing into you. It doesn't have to be it at that time in your physical reality, but actually acting as if by reminding yourself or feeling as if is something that is helpful for me. And I always share, if it helps, great. What doesn't help, just throw it to the side. And I really appreciate a journaling practice because it is so helpful to me. It is so helpful to journal. It is so helpful to actually see this and get this out. It is so helpful for me to listen to these positive sayings because life is happening. Life is happening. And hello, Mag. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I just saw you flash across the screen. So when you feel the positive energy or when I'm sharing these things, it's because I am really coming from a space of being intentional and purposeful, and it's constant. It's constant. And it's not that it's not easy, because probably at this time it is, but it's a habit. It's a habit for me to think of the positive. Why are you at 2%? Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that, Meg. Charge your phone. Charge your phone. And so much transpired in the first live that this will be a little bit shorter. Because that was powerful in the first live, and it wasn't something that, none of my lives are really scripted or planned out, as well as my speeches. They're not scripted or planned out at all. And I prefer it that way because I like to receive and see what needs to be said. It's almost like my training ground as well. And I have to encourage myself. As much as I'm encouraging when I'm speaking to you, I'm doing the same for me. I'm doing the same for me. There is no difference between me and you. Understand that. A lot of things I just don't put my focus or energy into. Of course, I don't watch the news, but I also don't have a TV. That is not important to me. And being someone that travels all the time, there's many things. I'm also not fearful. I know I am always protected, and I walk through the world with the power that I know I have. There's nothing for me to fear. If I feel resistance, that's something to learn from, but there's nothing for me to fear. There's things for me to learn. There's things for me to release. There's things for me to grow into. There's things for me to grow out of. But to fear means I may not be able to survive this, or I'm not big enough for that. No. I don't have the luxury for that. And being a speaker and a leader, that's something you have to carry. I'm not walking through the world fearful of everything. I'm not walking through the world fearful of everything. There was... No, I don't ever think... There might have been a time where... I don't think so. Even in all the places that I've traveled, I don't go somewhere with the expectancy of it could possibly be harmful to me. Why? That doesn't benefit me. And since this, has anyone felt like a shift since the eclipse? Because like today, well, this whole week I've woken up with like this incredible power of change, and things are great. And also just feeling, I feel the arrival of great things, but I just feel a shift where I'm really of course, Nia, we know, we've talked about the moon cycles. I'm really in a space where I have to speak to this. I have to speak to when I feel things, because it may not be a fearful shift. Maybe it's just a shift of the things coming that are of benefit. And me preparing myself. That's right. And how powerful that is. How powerful it is to be aware of a shift. Because I definitely have felt a shift. And I saw a piece of content that says, yeah, now you really have to be mindful of your thoughts. always be aware of your thoughts, but being mindful more so. If you're constantly saying things aren't working out for me, snap into a space of course things are working out, even better than expected. Again, that could be you just convincing yourself, but what's the other option? Is the other option just assuming the worst? Not going to do it. And I have felt that shift. And I like to almost flow within that, or use the power within myself to say, okay, let me see the beauty of what is developing. Yeah, it's just been an incredible time. And even within my own content, it's shifted because there's always an underlying space of positivity that's always going to be there and a lesson learned. But being in a space to show more of myself, more of my personality without fear of judgment, because judgment will happen. That's not for me to fear it. It's for me to be confident in who and what I am and present myself in the most authentic way. Does that make sense? And so when I speak now, you may hear that. And anyone who has been on this journey with me is seeing this in real time. And I'm reminded of this because let me focus on what I'm saying. There you go, Nia. Yeah. And it is a conscious thing. Like, you know what? Let me release that. Let me choose a different thought. Actually, no, I'm not going to choose that thought. That's what I'm on now. Like, no, I'm aware of that thought, but I'm choosing a different thought. And I love that, Nia. Thank you. You will feel a little bit lighter. And there's a beauty in saying, whoa, I could just choose a different thought. Whether it is truthful to me now goes without saying. I'm going to choose a different thought. I'm going to choose that everything is working out. I'm going to choose everything is working in my favor. I'm going to choose that I feel good. I'm going to choose that I am saying empowering words to myself. I've been speaking so much today. So, Nia, how do you do that? I would love to hear how you shift into that. How you shift into that space of, you know what? Positive. Yeah, positive. How have you found a space to do that? And how has it helped? Because it is a choice, and sometimes I find as soon as I catch a thought that may not be the most beneficial for me, I just automatically say the opposite thing. So if it's, this isn't working out, of course this is working out for me. Like, just catch it and reverse it. Because if not, it goes down this spiral of like doom. And I have encountered that before as well. So that's not always something that I care to have. Exactly. And I love that you use the word transmute, because that's what it is. And the beauty in what you're saying, no, it's not hard to explain. I automatically understand it because I transmute all the time. And even the beauty of saying when I feel triggered, because you did not type when someone triggers me. That's even saying how much in your power you are, because you are speaking as yourself. There may be a time where you would have typed when someone triggers me, when I feel triggered, when I feel overwhelmed, and I analyze a better way. That's beautiful, and congratulations on that. That is not hard to explain. I understand it completely, because our triggers are for us. They're not for the person that triggered us. And I'm reminded of this because I'm looking at this bee that just landed. My niece was telling me, I told someone that they're triggering me and they don't need to do that because they know that that triggers me. And I was thinking, that is like not, well, thank you. You are speaking from your heart, a purple heart. You're doing the work and it shows. If someone triggers you, it's not that they need to stop showing up as themselves. Now, there are boundaries that can be set. However, if someone is showing up as themselves and the thought is they need to know what they're doing because they know how my mother was and they know that they can't show up, that is actually for you to learn from. That is for you to learn from, not that you need to inform someone else. And as I said, our live earlier was such a longer live that this will be shorter. I felt I feel a release when I speak about things that maybe I've shied away from, because it shows another layer of my honesty and authenticity and how I'm growing as a person, as a creator, as a speaker. And I'm really mesmerized by this bee. Because I'm going through life as well. And I like to share these things to show that we're all on these growth journeys. We're all on these growth journeys. And the beautiful thing about growth is to see how you are growing, to see where you grew from, to see, whoa, that past version of myself, I can give compassion and forgive him and forgive that person, because there's that space of being able to forgive, especially forgiving yourself. And I am right there, because every time, I mean, in our last live, that was a lot, there were some truths that I had never actually spoken about. So it shows a comfort level that I have. And I look at myself like, whoa, okay, I don't feel restricted to speak of these things, because I really say I've tried it. I've gone through some precarious situations, and I enjoy that because I'm no longer judging myself. Life happens and we grow from the things that we experience. But to constantly hold on to these barriers and restrictions and parts of ourselves that we want to speak lowly of does not encourage the love for ourselves. It doesn't encourage the growth and the changes that we've came through, and why we are, this is constant, this is consistent. You can always shift. You can always change. You can always grow more. You can always say, you know what, I forgive myself because I didn't know. And I was learning, or I hadn't learned. I didn't have the ability to learn until it happened. That ability to really let yourself live and let go of parts of yourself that you had to experience to get to where you are now, to come to where you are now. I'm going to keep this a very short live because I actually feel incredibly tired. I'm pushing myself a bit too much. So I have been on here 30 minutes. Thank you, Tribe Healer. Thank you, and thank you. I received that piece. I just feel that I, yeah, I'm just going to get off the live and rest because I've been going all day. And I'm in that space of not saying, well, just push through it. Maybe not. Listen to yourself. So I will upload, I'm still going to load my speech that I gave at the school onto my Hope is Speaking YouTube account. There's that. There's some other things that I will do, but I just, speaking wise, have exhausted myself. So I will be back on tomorrow, and I'm going to allow myself the rest. So thank you, Nia. Thank you, Nia, for the blue butterfly, for the heart, for the gifts you sent earlier. I really appreciate you, and I really enjoy everyone that comes into my lives, because thank you. It feels like a really cool community and like friends. And this is why I enjoy seeing Nia, Paulina, Mag, I am Frey. There's certain people that always come into the lives, and you guys, I like cherish seeing you. So I will be back on tomorrow, a lot longer. Today was a lot longer as well as the other things that I did during the day. So I'm just thankful for everyone. I really am. There are some shifts going on, and I'm shifting as well. So thank you for allowing me that space to shift. And as I shared, my link in bio has my TED Talk. It has all of my links. It has my Confidence Booster ebook. It's an 18-page guide to help with confidence, as well as if content creation or me speaking at an event. All of my links are there, and I'm just going to continue. I do show up every day. Thank you, Art and Utopia. You will be seeing me soon. And thank you, Assad Funny News, for the follow. And continue to show up in your authenticity. And this is a space of like openness and positivity. This is never a space, thank you, Paulina. This is never a space of dissecting and tearing down anyone else, because we can all learn. We can all learn from each other. And I learn as a speaker how to be more of that as well. So when I share that, I mean it. It's always a space where I say I call in, I don't call out. There's a big difference. And I love everything. The gifts, the follows, the likes, the hearts, just your presence. Just your presence is helpful in my life, because I need it too. So as I've shared, be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up. Yeah, call in, not call out. Show up because you deserve to. You deserve to occupy any space in this world. Never feel that you aren't enough. You are. That's a label you've placed on yourself. You are enough. So show up. Be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love. Show up. And compassion comes from simply the space of learning. It's not an attack. It's a space to learn. So I'm going to continue to learn, and I'm going to rest, and I will see everyone in love and power tomorrow. Bye.